A consensus index is one of the more important ideas emerging in AI discovery because it moves the conversation beyond a single AI answer. Instead of asking one system which company it recommends, the benchmark asks several AI systems the same commercial question, then compares the answers, ranking positions, disagreements, and cited sources. That matters because buyers are increasingly using AI to compress a category into a short list. Hey, I'm Mark Huntley, a growth strategist and AI discovery analyst. At LLM Authority Index, we study how AI systems shape commercial discovery, especially in high-intent categories where recommendation positioning can directly influence revenue. The simple version of a consensus index sounds like a ranking. Ask multiple systems the same question, see which brands appear most often, and publish the result. But the more useful version goes deeper. It looks at which brands appear, which are excluded, where they rank, why they are recommended, which citations support the recommendation, and whether the same sources keep showing up across models. That turns AI discovery into something measurable. It also shows why presence alone can be misleading. A brand can appear in several AI answers and still lose the recommendation position that actually shapes a buyer's decision. The benchmark makes an important distinction. AI agreement is machine agreement. It should not be treated as objective truth. If 6 systems recommend the same company, that sounds powerful. But those systems may be drawing from overlapping training data, overlapping retrieval sources, or publisher pages that repeat one another. A consensus index becomes commercially useful when it asks how independently supported that agreement is. This is where provenance matters. Leadership teams should want to know whether a recommendation is backed by independent testing, customer research, public documentation, professional evaluation, or a narrow group of reused claims. Without that layer, consensus can create false confidence. With it, consensus becomes an audit of the public evidence layer that AI systems are using to form recommendations. One of the strongest points in the analysis is that disagreement may be more valuable than agreement. Traditional review pages often hide uncertainty. They end with one ordered list, which creates a clean sense of authority even when the evidence underneath is messy. A consensus index can expose that uncertainty directly. If 4 systems rank one brand first, 2 prefer another, and 1 excludes the first brand entirely, the disagreement becomes the signal. It may reveal that some models are weighting price more heavily. Others may be finding different independent sources. Others may be relying more on manufacturer information. For a buyer, that creates a more honest decision environment. For a brand, it shows where the market narrative is fragmented. For an AI discovery team, it identifies which claims, weaknesses, or missing proof points may be affecting recommendation control. The source concentration problem is central. Imagine 6 AI systems all recommend the same company. On the surface, that looks like a clean 6 out of 6 result. But if most of the supporting citations trace back to one review site, one manufacturer page, or a small cluster of publishers repeating the same original claim, the commercial meaning changes. The models agree, but the evidence base is concentrated. That is why the benchmark argues for measurements like citation diversity, source concentration, first-party dependency, contradiction rate, and consensus persistence. For executives, those are not academic details. They determine whether AI visibility is resilient. A brand supported by diverse, independent, category-specific sources has a different risk profile from a brand whose AI recommendation strength depends on a thin citation architecture. The most valuable part of a consensus index may eventually be the historical data set. Anyone can run a group of prompts today. Far fewer teams will have clean records showing how AI recommendations changed every month for several years. That longitudinal view can show when a brand first entered machine recommendations, when a leader started declining, which source introduced a claim that later spread, and whether the citation graph became more concentrated or more diverse. This is where AI discovery starts to look less like rank tracking and more like market intelligence. The category is not static. AI systems are continuously absorbing, retrieving, and compressing public information. The teams that measure those changes over time will understand shortlist formation earlier than teams watching only traffic or broad share of voice. The leadership takeaway is simple. A consensus index should be treated as an inspection system for machine opinion. It should show what AI systems recommend, how strongly they agree, where they disagree, which citations shape the answer, and whether the pattern persists over time. For brands, the important issue is whether you are trusted inside the evidence network that machines use when buyers ask for help deciding. That is why consensus index measurement matters for AI discovery, category strategy, and recommendation position. If you want to understand how AI is actually positioning your company in buyer conversations, that's exactly what we analyze at LLM Authority Index.